Kristen! Michelle is excited about the sleepover. I'm looking forward to showing you around. But first, did you get a chance to sign an NDA? As part of the health and wellness program, we have fresh carrots, ants on a log, and of course, 100% juices. That's not 99, it's 100. We also like to treat ourselves. We're all about work hard, play hard. We like to reward our guests with plenty of opportunities to relieve stress, like video games, movies, maybe just a good old nap. Just don't forget to use your PTO.
What's PTO?
Playtime outside. Hashtag duh. So, Kristen, Michelle tells me you like drawing. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
High school?
Great. How do you feel about relocating?
Fine.
Hey girls, do you mind doing those dishes when you're done?
Will we get allowance?
Let's put compensation in the parking lot for now and talk about what you will get out of this that will advance you in the long run. Are you open to an exploratory conversation?
Are you interviewing anywhere else? I think you have great experience. May I not compete at your company? References.
Take care. Thanks for coming over. If you had a good time, send us some referrals. So, how do you think that went?
Embarrassing.
All right, thanks for the feedback, sweetie. Let's talk about what you want in your next sleepover. What are your 3 to 5 must-haves?
Hello, Africa, Central Eastern Europe, Southern Eastern Europe, Turkey, Greece, Malta, Cyprus, Nigeria, Ghana, wherever you're watching from, Romania, Poland, welcome to another LinkedIn live stream. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? If you can, start confirming in the chat so I know that I'm streaming live and people can hear me. And of course, as you start telling me you can hear me, tell me where you're watching from. Welcome to this LinkedIn live stream where we will be talking about how to hire a Rockstar recruiter. And before we even get started with that, I'm going to ask a colleague who's going to be helping me co-present, of course, and Monday morning, time for that coffee break. It's time to shine, folks. Let's get started. As I said, I want you to help me usher in a colleague of mine who's helping me today co-moderate and help answer some of the questions that we have. Please, on LinkedIn, you've got reaction buttons, you've got the applause, you got the thumbs up, you got the hearts. Help me welcome my one and only colleague from Turn Left Media, John Bowles. Good morning.
Oh, wow. Good morning, Stu. Wow, I'd like that every Monday morning. Somebody get me out of bed with that sort of intro and get me going for the week. So if I can hire you in, can I recruit you in, Stu, to help me get out of bed on Monday mornings? That would be great.
Look at
Wonderful to be here. Wonderful to be here. I'm super excited to hear all about your Prezzo, because I know you've always got tons of energy to bring to the party. So I'm in the background. I'm looking out. I'm going to ask everybody to please get some feedback and questions into the feed on LinkedIn Live so that I can share that with Stu and we can make this all work. Yeah, how's my spelling there? Wonderful, huh? Greater to be here. Huh?
You're the first person to put in a comment and just spell my name wrong. Oh, what about that? We've got Renee joining in from Johannesburg. Good morning, Renee. I hope you're doing well this morning. It's a Monday morning. It's been a long time. Yes, we met at the Lorries, the marketing event in South Africa that celebrates the best marketers. And of course, LinkedIn was there because companies need to brand. Companies need to tell their stories. And that's how we recruit. And that's how we find the best talent. Help me shout out some of the people that are on the live stream, Marius, so we can say good morning and get started with all the stuff we have to share today. So who's online, Marius?
We've got some people from Sri Lanka. We've got Titus from Sri Lanka. We've got Rizal from the Philippines. We've got some action from Nairobi, Kenya, from Edmund. We've got another Singaporean Kit. We've got even from Anika from Sweden. They're all coming through here. And then some Africa's coming through from Nyiko, and we've got Ugu from Lagos, Nigeria. So getting some nice action. Just want to see some questions in the feedback just now. That'll be great.
Super. As of course, they're going to start asking questions once we get started with the content, which is right now. It's Monday morning, and I know people are busy. By the way, if you need to take off, there will be a recording of this live stream. You can watch it after the event. And for those who are staying on, I've got some amazing giveaways. I got a QR code that you need to get, but I'll only get to that when I get to the end. But John, I did this last week and it gave me such great pleasure. I'm going to do it again. I'm kicking you off the screen on a Monday morning. Is that okay?
No. Good idea.
All right, folks, how to hire a rock star. This is what it's all about. Of course, we've done a series in terms of these discussions. We first covered how to hire donor relations directors. We also covered how to hire fundraisers. We also looked at how to hire teachers and teaching assistants and substitute teachers. Now we want to focus on the people that help us find the talent our organizations need. Whoa, I'm so excited. I got started on this without even introducing myself. Hold on a second. Let's do this properly. For those who've never watched a live stream with me, my name is Stuart Samkange. I'm here at LinkedIn, and my role at LinkedIn is working with higher educational institutions, helping them, amongst other things, find, plan, and brand their organizations to get the best talent into their organizations. So I work with colleges, universities, and tertiary institutions. So if you are on this live stream and you fall into those sectors, definitely get in touch. And if you're not, I can definitely put you in touch with a colleague here at LinkedIn that can assist you with this. So I said, we've been covering the jobs that organizations need. And of course, we'll be giving you an opportunity to ask questions. But we wanted to start off, of course, by giving some thought leadership and, of course, giving you contacts of who you can reach out to after this event that will help you as you journey along. So I'm not working alone. I've got colleagues in East Africa, West Africa, and of course, we've got some colleagues that are covering just South Africa, and of course, myself covering the rest of the region with Crispin. So if you need help after this event, definitely get in touch. So those are your go-to contact details. What to expect in terms of today and this morning is we'll go quite briskly through what is the role of recruiting in the world and the economy that we live in. How do we go out there and identify the best recruiters by leveraging skills and looking at what our business needs in order to transform? Next, we'll be looking at, of course, how to interview these people for these roles in our organizations. And I'll give you a quick sneak preview of how the best in class are doing this. So as I said, we'll start off with the future of recruiting and what's changing in the recruitment landscape. Number one, based on LinkedIn's research with multiple talent acquisition leaders, recruiters, hiring managers, and of course, company leaders, we've taken a lens on what the future would look like. And we've made 17 predictions. I think the screen you saw earlier on was the landing slide to a document that is going to be made available to you after this session, which talks about some of the 17 predictions that we see in terms of how companies are going to plan, are going to brand, and then are going to engage and hire recruiters. But today we're talking about recruiters. So what do those predictions have to say about the role of our recruiter? What they do have to say is that the role of our recruiter is now been elevated. The recruiter now sits on that proverbial board table because the recruiter is the one person who gets to interface with all areas of our business, talking to our CMO, our chief marketing officer, about how we brand ourselves because that's going to attract candidates into our organization, talking to our finance teams about, of course, the amount of money we have and resources available to either externally hire or to internally develop and help people grow internally. Of course, our recruiters will also talk to our learning and development team in terms of developing talent already that's inside to take on some of those new roles. So they're getting a seat at the proverbial table because there's been some seismic shifts in terms of the way that we operate since post-COVID. There's a lot more hybrid work, a lot more remote work. There's even people that are 100% remote that need to be, again, brought into our organization, buy into our values, our culture, and our organization ethics, but work remotely and still be efficient. So the role of a recruiter now sits at that table where business is making strategic decisions. Because we might have great products, we might have great technology, we might be in the great location, but what ultimately sets us up for success as a company, as an institution, is our people. And our recruiters are the ones that help us identify that best-in-class talent. Of course, we know that our recruiters are being challenged to do more with less. And we are well aware of this, and we'll be talking to how we support you in terms of doing more with less, and especially in an environment where it seems a little bit economically uncertain. In terms of recruiters sitting at that proverbial table, when we went out there and we interviewed subject matter professionals, as we said, talent acquisition professionals, 70% of them said that they now definitely are being asked to attend those strategic meetings. So it's a critical role in terms of our business. I've already spoken to this point where, of course, the data is saying that up to 81% of our recruiters, our internal recruiters, are going to spend more time working and building talent strategies with learning and development. Because the opportunity exists for us right now when we're not doing as much external recruitment to internally develop the skills and the talent of people internally to address the business needs that we have. So let's carry on and see what else the data is telling us. I'm not going to cover all 17 points. I just wanted to cover 4 pertinent points and speak to those. The third one is, of course, in terms of doing more with less in an environment of economic uncertainty. What is the data telling us? The data is telling us that in-house recruiters, well over 50%, 53%, as the data says here, are saying that they're expecting to reduce in terms of spending on external hiring. However, what they are saying, though, is that as much as there's a reduction in the budgets available to do external recruitment and bring in people, they're going to be spending more in terms of branding, telling our story, who our leaders are, who our people are, what our culture is, what our values are, what our facilities look like, why you'd want to work for us, what benefits we have to offer. So companies are going to spend time institutions are going to spend time telling their story and rising above, of course, all the social noise that we see on multiple platforms in terms of things that people can consume. So there's going to be a lot more doubling down in terms of branding, and that's something that, of course, is absolutely critical if we are to find the best-in-class recruiters for our own organization. What's more, in terms of recruiters, there's a change, a fundamental change in terms of how they are identifying talent. And right now, if you're looking to hire a recruiter, a talent acquisition professional, a leader, a manager, here's what's happening in the world of work based on the recruiters that we interviewed. Up to 25% said they're more likely to search based on skills than they did 3 years ago. And then a further 50% are more likely to search based on skills rather than degree, certification, diploma, etc. Why is that? Because of the sense of urgency that's needed in our institutions and our organizations in order for us to respond dynamically to the world that's changing around us in terms of how we serve our customers, our students, our staff, all of our custodians and stakeholders. We need to transform quickly. So what happens in the real world is that a hiring manager goes out to, of course, the recruiters and gives them a job description or an outline of what they would like. Budget permitting, they go out into the market. And when they're going out into the market, it is to lead first with what problem we're trying to solve within the business. And that's where the skills first narrative becomes apparent. So in terms of how recruiters are searching, they're searching by leveraging skills first, as opposed to looking at years of experience or looking at any other certifications that one might hold. So what does that say to those who are job seekers? It says, update your profile and always make time for learning in terms of skills. In terms of skills that matter for recruiters, if you are a job seeker or you are an existing talent acquisition professional, these are some of the most in-demand skills that are for recruiters. And I think the ones that stick out for me here in terms of transformation, some of them I expected them, but of course is social media and marketing, and the last one is sales. The fact that you're now being driven more on a numbers basis in terms of the number of hires, the number of candidates you're able to reach, the number of acceptance, how long those people stay in the jobs. These are some of the analytical skills that you're going to be expected to have if you want to be a top-end recruiter. So if you are looking to recruit for top-end recruiters out there in the world of work, these are some of the skills we suggest based on insights on where the world of work is going, that you zoom in and focus. Number one there, as you can see, is communication skills. It's never been more apparent for all of us as professionals that we need to have a digital billboard story of us, a story that talks of our experience, our commitment, our results, our impact, and the things that we do. These stories ultimately help us in the endeavors that we have. So if we are looking to recruit, or if we are recruiters today, your brand, your profile is one of the first things that candidates have a look at, right? In terms of, do we bring you in for that next interview? But I don't want to digress. Let us continue in terms of how to go out there and find that rockstar recruiter. And of course, as I said, it's about investing in skills and identifying the critical skills. Here I'm putting up on the screen very briefly and very quickly some of the courses that I've taken on LinkedIn Learning for the modern recruiter. I've done a course on virtual recruiting, done one on the essence and of course the importance of storytelling. Storytelling is so important, whether it's be for recruitment purposes or even for the retention of our key staff and members. Then I went on and I did a course on how to recruit faster with social media in this digital era. And I highly recommend these courses for those of you who are watching this live stream. So like I said, how do we go out there and hire recruiters? Let's first start off by looking at how LinkedIn supports you on this journey. Because on this journey, there are several components that are critical for your success. As we said, right now, there's the talent in terms of the balance. Talent right now has the power. They have an option in terms of companies where they want to work. So in order for us to strategically, efficiently go out there and find the best in class and bring them into our own organizations, what support can we expect from LinkedIn? Number one, LinkedIn is going to support us in terms of planning, getting a holistic view of whatever talent we're looking for. Yes, today we're talking about recruiters and how to hire them, but we want to have insights on our marketplace, on our region, or globally. Where does this talent sit? What skills has it got? Where is it working? Number two, we want to then, using what we know about this talent, go out there and tell a compelling story. Do some branding, right, as an organization. And of course, leverage our own employees to do that storytelling in terms of our talent brand. Our talent brand should be an authentic reflection of our organization. It shouldn't be just a poster. It shouldn't be something we put into our job description. It should be aligned to how employees feel about working in your own organization. I ask you after this live stream to go in and look up the hashtag LinkedIn Life. One word, LinkedIn Life. Go have a look. These are authentic stories or posts that are being done by LinkedIn employees that help demonstrate our culture, that help demonstrate what it means to work at LinkedIn. So leveraging employee stories, because our employees have so much more reach than us as organizations. Even when we are recruiting, when we post jobs out there, it's our employees that those candidates reach out to. What stories are they telling about our organization? LinkedIn helps you craft out how to tell a compelling digital story, highlight your leaders, put in some employee perspectives, and of course, show what a great working place you are. So we've talked about helping you with the planning, helping you with branding and telling your story. Next, we want to recruit. And there's two ways that we can do this. The two ways are this. One, we want to lead with a really well-crafted job description, and we want to post a job on LinkedIn so that the algorithms can work for us. The job will then surface for those who have the skills, experience, the education that we need, and they will apply for those jobs so that you spend your time meeting quality candidates, not shortlisting, meeting quality candidates that meet the skills that you need. Next, we also then want to take a more proactive approach, headhunting. We want to reach out to specific candidates that have the skills and experience that we need, but might not have applied. So there we leverage LinkedIn Recruiter to send in mails to those candidates and start communicating with them. Why do people hire recruiters? I think it speaks for itself. Or what we could do, I don't know if time permits, is we could take a quick break and check in with with John, and see if there's any questions at this stage as people think through why do we need recruiters. John, how are you doing?
Bring me in, Stu. Bring me in.
Any questions?
Yeah, Stu, there are no questions right now, but I think I prompted the audience to come and ask some questions. I'm going to ask you a question on behalf of this amazing audience spread around the world, mostly in Africa. Okay, so I'm looking for a recruiter. We know that budgets are dropping in terms of what we allocated. We're seeing money go up in employer branding. So the role of recruiter and the job skills that are required for a modern day recruiter are slightly different. They're needing to be kind of a little bit more aligned with the employer brand initiative, right?
Right.
How would you look for somebody that's going to kind of bring in a bit of marketing skills? You can see that the courses that recruiters are learning are communication. You can see that they're learning marketing, social media. Are these little skills that you're going to look for when you're hunting out for that recruiter?
Yeah, if I'm looking for the best in class, right? And this is why on these live streams, I always talk and urge the audience to always make time for learning. You might be successful in your role today. You might actually even be a leader in the organization you're representing, but you are seeking new economic opportunities. You want to be a senior recruiter or director at an institution or an organization out there. You need to demonstrate that you're a lifelong learner. How? Things like the communication courses, things like the social media courses, digital marketing that you're talking about, those from a time investment, it's literally 30 minutes to an hour. We need to make time for learning. There is so many things in this world that can distract us, but we need to intentionally make time for learning. And after we've made time for learning, put it onto your profile, because you need to show the world that you're growing and that you have these new age skills that speak to this. So when I am going to be looking for that recruiter, I will be looking for, if not certifications, I'll be looking for proof points. Right. So how do you post on LinkedIn? What do you post about? Do you have a blog? Do you have a YouTube channel? Do you have other presence on the internet that help demonstrate how you're engaging candidates, how you're bringing them in, how you're interviewing, and how you're being successful in your role?
Brilliant. Yeah, absolutely. I think there's definitely a shift and a change happening. One, personally, and then secondly, for to find those right people.
Definitely. All right. So let's get back to the, of course, the presentation. And of course, we're thinking through why people go out there and hire recruiters. And as we said, these are, of course, the talent magnets that help us bring in the best in class that will have impact and drive results within our own organizations. I think in this particular live stream, we won't belabor the point on why people hire recruiters. What we might want to look at, however, is when we go out there and we're looking for recruiters, what are some of the skills that we should be looking for? And when we think of skills, we want to think of them in two areas. We want to think of what are the ones we expect you to have, which are required qualifications, and the preferred ones. In terms of the required ones, of course, you can see those are self-explanatory on the screen there. And of course, some of them speak to the points that John was raising around new age skills that are required. And of course, in some of these skills, you'll notice you would tend to think of them as soft skills. Don't think of them as essential soft skills. Communication skills right now are super important. As you can see, with the advance of technology, more and more of what we're doing, even in the recruitment space, we've got recruiters now beginning to explore generative AI in terms of coming up with interview questions, etc. The advances in this area are phenomenal, and they will continue to grow. So make time for learning, make time to get the skills that will help you stand out as a world-class recruiter by having essential skills. In terms of organizations that are looking to hire, here's my message for you. Recruiters, they themselves are well versed in this space. What story are you telling that's compelling, that's going to make them want to work for you? Recruiters will do extensive searches on your organization. They'll want to understand what are your commitments to equitable pay, DI, diversity, inclusion, and other areas that could be important to them. So it pays for us to tell a compelling story, and to tell that story on the platform where we find our recruiters, which is LinkedIn. Yes, there are other social media platforms, but what distinguishes this one is that this is the professional platform where recruiters come to find talent. And this is where you're going to come to find them as talent. So what story are we telling that's compelling enough to make them click to apply, or to reply to that email where you're inviting them to meet with a subject matter expert, or at least have a pre-discussion before you're interviewing? So it pays for us on LinkedIn to describe and tell the world of work what our organization has in terms of course, not only the job description, benefits, and of course, reasons why people want to work for us. And on LinkedIn, they've done something special. In case you didn't know, you have an option. Let's say you're a job seeker. You can go to an organization's page, go onto the About section, scroll to the bottom, and you have an option to demonstrate your interest in wanting to work for that organization. This is going to help recruiters, when they on the back-end system, be able to see those that have already demonstrated an interest in wanting to work for our organizations. So make sure to leverage that if you are a job seeker. And then on the inverse, if you're looking to hire, LinkedIn's giving you an opportunity to demonstrate your commitments, the things that you stand for, and as an organization in terms of values that will have impact in attracting candidates to want to work for you. So in terms of our job description, like we did in the last 2 live streams, we don't go into detail of the job description itself, but we put this up on screen to highlight one key thing. The thing is, LinkedIn will support you on this journey. Today, we're talking about hiring recruiters. We talked, of course, about hiring teachers, fundraisers, donor relations managers. LinkedIn has job descriptions based on our experience of working with over 59 million companies, in terms of seeing over 11 million jobs on the platform at any given time, in terms of having over 9 million members. From that, we've gleaned and started articulating what a credible job description would look like if you were looking to bring in a recruiter. So it's telling our story, as I said, highlighting the objectives of the role, highlighting the responsibilities that we expect, and then, of course, the skills that are required for this particular role. There you are. Once again, we highlight then, of course, in terms of the required skills and, of course, the preferred skills that we're looking for when we're hiring for this role. In terms of hiring for this role, I now want us to transition very quickly and look at how we're going to interview for these people, right? In terms of what are some of the behavioral questions we can ask? What are some of the soft skills we can test for and the hard skills we can test for? John, I'm going to take a quick coffee break there and just check in if there are any questions at this stage before I go into, of course, the questions that you can ask recruiters in order to identify the best.
Less questions, more compliments, Stu. You know, you're a rock star out there. So everybody's just great to get your energy across, and I think they're taking on all the insights that you're bringing into discussion this morning. Superb presentation. A lot of great thumbs up for you.
Awesome. Thank you, folks. Thank you. I like that. It's Monday morning. I hope I'm bringing good energy to you on a Monday morning and, of course, educating you. And speaking of educating you, my one request for you is that, of course, out there is someone who was supposed to attend this session that you know. Maybe they're a job seeker. Maybe they are a recruiter, or maybe they're looking to hire recruiters. Please, right now, reshare this post, of course, with your audience so that they can see it, or do it afterwards. Let's carry on and look at how we're going to interview for recruiters by looking at, of course, behavioral intelligence, looking at, of course, soft skills, and, of course, hard skills. Let's start off with the hard skills. When it comes to hard skills, here's one of the questions you might expect when you're looking to be interviewed for the role. So it's a standard one, but it's somewhere where you can lace it in terms of listening in to what matters. So in terms of what matters sorry, sorry, I lost my breath there. In terms of what matters is asking someone to talk you through how they typically go about outlining a job description. And what you're listening out for here is to see if they're using positive and inclusive language, to see if they've got specific techniques for making our jobs sound more attractive, or highlighting specific benefits that matter to a specific talent community. So it could be that we're looking to hire people that are looking for flexibility, work flexibility. So how does that recruiter go about highlighting this in terms of building out that job description? And again, I want them to give me examples of how they've used job descriptions to increase the number of quality applications. Remember, it's about quality, not about quantity. So in terms of my recruiter, that will be the first question I'd ask them. Next, I might ask them to tell me about their experience in terms of recruiting for companies like us or our particular industry. And of course, what I'm listening out for there is in terms of your experience. I'm trying to get a sense and understanding of what kind of expert knowledge you have, what kind of skills you have, how big and strong is your network. Did you hear me? How big, how strong is your network in our sector? Are you following us on LinkedIn? Are you following other organizations on LinkedIn that are similar to our organization? Have you hired in our sector? And what's more, what do you know about people? Who do you know in our sector? Now, where do people go and find that out? They look at your LinkedIn profile. That's why it matters that on our LinkedIn profiles, whether we're job seekers, hiring managers, recruiters, students, professionals, that we're actively building a network, not to make it the largest. No, LinkedIn has never been a popularity contest. It's about building a credible network of like-minded professionals. Like-minded professionals in my industry, like-minded professionals who have similar background, skills, and experience like myself, or I'm building a strategic network of the industries and the sectors where I want to work. And it's important that this story is being visibly told 24/7, not by you, by your LinkedIn profile. Let your profile speak volumes for you, because when I am looking to hire a recruiter, I'm going to go to your profile. I'm going to scroll down right to the bottom. I'm going to look at the influencers you follow, the companies you follow, the thought leaders, the groups that you're in. These all attest to your investment in my sector, in my industry, so that when you do come through for that interview, I know what's influencing you. And for you as a job seeker, here's the thing. If you follow specific organizations on LinkedIn, if you join specific groups, recruiters in South Africa, recruiters in Ghana, recruiters in Poland, if you follow those groups, that will speak volumes for you in terms of your profile when you're not in the room, because the recruiter will then see this for themselves. What's more, for you as a job seeker, it means that when you follow these institutions or when you join in these groups and you actively participate, you're increasing your knowledge of the sector. So that when that question is asked about, have you ever recruited in our sector? Have you ever recruited for our industry? Have you ever recruited for higher education? you're able then to speak to some of these things that you would have learned in groups or you would have learned on your LinkedIn feed because you're following and are connected to like-minded professionals. Next, I want to test, of course, your digital literacy. And in terms of your digital literacy, what am I going to be asking? I'm going to be asking, what recruitment software and tools are you familiar with? Right? And I think this one is a bit of an obvious one, right? LinkedIn. It's Monday, folks. I'm allowed to laugh. Okay, so there are other platforms. And here's the thing. People always ask me, say, hey, Stuart, why do you always advocate for LinkedIn beyond working for LinkedIn? It's because this is where professionals are. Yes, there are other platforms that we use for social media, etc. But ask yourself, how many people have been successfully hired using those platforms? And was it a strategy to actually go out looking for them using those platforms and you were successful? And how sustainable was it? I digress. Let's get back to, of course, the questions we would ask our recruiters. And of course, what was I listening out for when I asked about your knowledge of recruitment tools and software? I was looking for your transformative digital nature, your skills that you have. And of course, and I wanted you to at least highlight to me, as you talk about these various platforms, what are some of the positives, pros and cons that you've seen with the different platforms that you may have interacted with. Next, in terms of now trying to understand the candidate in terms of behavioral questions, I might go forward and ask, how do you ensure that hires are a good fit in terms of skills and culture? And here, one of the things I'm listening out for is to understand if this recruiter in the past has worked in an industry similar to myself, where I would lead with telling a story of how, as a recruiter, I work closely with hiring managers in terms of understanding some of the culture or the expectations of that job. What's the DNA of the type of person they're looking for? How I partner up with my HR business partners in terms of understanding what they're looking for in terms of talent. There are other things that they're testing for in terms of asking this question in terms of how you ensure candidates are a good fit. They're also listening to find out how you track or your track record of success in terms of bringing in quality hires into organizations. Next, folks, like I said, I'm doing 3 questions, 3 hard questions we've done, 3 soft skills questions we've done, and now we're on behavioral questions as we continue with this narrative. Next, I would ask them, have you ever recruited someone that turned out not to be the right fit? Why would I ask this question? I'm asking here to get authentic answers from yourself of situations that you've been in that have turned out not to be as successful. But I'm intentionally listening in to how you're positioning things. So the language you're using about the candidate or the hire or the employee that didn't turn out to be a right fit, how you describe them, the language, is it inclusive? Again, when I hear your story, I'm listening out to understand what were some of the personal failures that you identified, whether it be from a personal performance or the technology or the process, and how you've learned from it and transformed. So these questions, as much as they look quite obvious, of course, our recruiters and hiring managers, by partnering up with LinkedIn, are getting to understand what are the critical things to listen in for. Again, with why we do these live stream is to position the fact that you're not alone if you're looking to hire. These job descriptions, these interview questions, these are available for those who partner with LinkedIn. And again, on a quarterly basis, we come together to review the results. Have you been able to make people aware of your opportunities? How many people have started looking at your jobs? How many people have clicked to apply on your jobs? How many passive candidates have you been able to reach out to and successfully bring in? And when you did reach out, what was the message that worked? Was it a LinkedIn post? Was it a video? Was it a testimonial? Was it a job that you just posted? Again, we're looking at all of these analytics and insights to improve your world. We do these live streams to highlight these support tools for any job and, of course, any role that you're looking to hire for that we can support you with. I digress. Let's move on. Another top behavioral interview question that I would ask is, how do you ensure that you maintain a steady and a reliable talent pipeline? And where do you source your candidates from? Here I'm trying to get an understanding if this recruiter leverages multiple ways to engage candidates. Of course, we talked about social media. It's not about going viral. It's about ensuring that when we post or when we position our brand, those that have the right skills are motivated to apply. So it's not about going viral. And of course, if you want, you can go hashtag social media fails, and you can see organizations that have gone in with the approach of trying to go viral. No, it's about telling a compelling story. And this is where LinkedIn helps again. Remember, we talked about insights? When we're going out there looking for recruiters, we're able to look and say, with recruiters, what are the things they care about? So that when we position the job, we're positioning it from an area of things they care about and things that would make them click to apply. All right, in terms of soft skills, what else I'd ask a recruiter is, what do you do as a recruiter? What are the things you do to put a candidate at ease? And of course, here we're asking them to showcase how they leverage relationship, their communication skills, and of course, how they build rapport. And rapport is important because, of course, it's not that always the best in class talent is ready to join your organization today. No, the best-in-class recruiters build strategic relationships. They leverage platforms like LinkedIn to manage candidates so that when a candidate says, come back to me in September, they're able to come back to them in September and say, look, you interviewed last time, you got to this stage, we have another great opportunity. Would you consider it? So how we manage our candidates and how a recruiter talks about how they manage candidates, the relationship management of candidates, and of course, bringing them in and having those candidates be referrals to bring in other top talent. All of that I'm listening into as I interview the best-in-class recruiter for my own organization. Last question here is, can you list a couple of your favorite interview questions, right? And of course, what I'm listening to here is to understand how different they are from other people in the marketplace. What language are you using? What observational skills, assessments, and tools are you using to ensure that you're able to bring in the right people? Next, want to look at, I do have one more. I thought I'd finished in terms of top soft skills that I would ask somebody is that if I was looking to bring them in as a recruiter, is how do you ensure that your personal biases do not affect your decision making? Again, we're talking here about digital transformation. We're talking about inclusive language. We're talking, of course, about how that recruiter is tuned in to diversity, inclusion, and, of course, an equitable workplace. So those are the things that I'm listening into as I ask this question in terms of soft skills to understand how they ensure that they don't have bias in terms of candidate selection, candidate shortlisting, how they post out their jobs, and how they reflect our organizational brand. Because these are the first people that our candidates get to meet when they're coming in, right? These are some of the first people our candidates get to meet. And it's important that they tell an authentic story. And as we said, in terms of talent branding or employer branding, the power really comes in when that story is told by your own employees. All right, folks, I know we've been through quite a lot today and we want to start wrapping up. LinkedIn, like I said, is there to help you in terms of making people aware of the jobs and the opportunities that you have. And we're using data to quantify how successful you have been in terms of hiring. In terms of what else we can help you do is run, of course, things like assessments to ensure that you're getting top quality candidates that have invested in the right skills and you can shortlist much quicker. We help you strengthen and highlight what your employee brand and story is, and of course, ensure that you're helping those who need opportunities internally to rise and grow if we're not hiring externally. And I know some of you who are watching this live stream, I know there might be a bit of confusion around what are we positioning here? Because we've seen several LinkedIn products as consumers. So you might be a recruiter today and you're saying, oh yeah, but I already use LinkedIn to hire. So there is a difference. we've got LinkedIn as our personal profiles. Then, of course, we've got the premium upgrades for those consumers, not professionals or organizations, consumers that want added advantage in terms of insights and information. Next, we have LinkedIn Recruiter Lite. LinkedIn Recruiter Lite is ideally for small organizations that maybe make no more than 5 hires in a given year. This is when, of course, they're paying with their credit card and that data is retained by that individual. But what we're talking about here is corporate solutions. Recruiter Corporate is an institutional or an organizational solution where the data belongs to you as an organization, where we can pass on the license to someone else should you go on leave, where, of course, you have the opportunity to meet with Turn Left Media or LinkedIn on a quarterly basis to look at usage, performance, and some of the results. Where, of course, as a corporate solution, you have much more opportunity to reach out to candidates, to search much wider than your own individual network. So what we're talking about is a corporate solution as opposed to a personal solution that would use in our lives. And again, the call out here was that you reach out to, of course, some of my colleagues who are on the stream, and I'll just zoom right to it. You reach out to some of our colleagues who are on the stream, Nelly in East Africa, Tunde in West Africa, Crispin and myself sitting out here in Dublin. And of course, you reach out to Marius and John who are covering South Africa. There's a QR code. I promised, as I said earlier on, to give you a QR code in terms of where you can find additional resources, such as demonstrations of these solutions, such as being able to book an appointment so that we can get together and talk about your organization's requirements. Thank you very much for staying in up until this moment. And of course, if you're watching this as a replay, scan the code. Let's meet one-on-one and look at how LinkedIn can assist you. I'm going to bring John back on camera, and we're going to close out very quickly with a couple of questions and, of course, a quick video. So let's see if John is still there. Hey, John.
I'm still here, Stu. Look, a lot of the questions that are coming out seem to be this combination of, how do I raise my own presence to be, attractive for employers, and also, so what I'm picking up from the feed, obviously, people are loving the insights, loving what you're sharing. We're talking about hiring rockstar recruiters, but whatever vocation you're in, we know there's demand for certain skills at the moment. What would your word of advice be? Let's say, I've got some basic skills, but I'm not getting enough traction. I want to become a recruiter, but I haven't got those skills yet. So on that side, how do I get my presence right personally? And then secondly, for recruiters or for businesses trying to hire a recruiter, what tips would you give those businesses? I know you've given already a ton of tips today, but if you had just one immediate starting point right now, what would you do?
Yeah, sure. And of course, I see Carol's asking, of course, about software engineers. We've covered several jobs. And of course, LinkedIn is a platform where we've looked at all skills, member requirements, and of course, company jobs. So we're able to cover any type of job. And that's what we've been doing in this series. Now, as an individual, what would I recommend for you? So go beyond your profile is my recommendation. So create a dynamic profile. How do you build that? First, go and have a look at the jobs. How do they describe the desired jobs or the aspirational jobs that you want? Have a look at how they're describing those jobs. Have a look at yourself and authentically see where you've got skills gaps. Invest in getting those skills. There are many platforms available. And of course, a highly recommended one is LinkedIn Learning, because it's based on content that is driven by the jobs that we see the jobs and the skills that we see companies trying to hire for. Now, once you've got those skills, again, keep telling that story on LinkedIn. Keep updating your profile and share. Share with the world what you learned. After this live stream, I'm going to be sharing some of those courses that I did, and I'm going to make them free for 24 hours. 24 hours, that's it. If you follow me or if we're connected, of course, you will have access to some of those courses on virtual recruiting, social media, hiring faster, and of course, storytelling. Speaking of storytelling, so moving away from the job seeker to an organization. If you're looking to hire the best in class, here's what I'd recommend. Don't do it alone. Don't do it alone. Success is not an individual act. Come, let's do this together. Let's look at what the insights are telling us. Does this talent exist? I want to give you access to those insights so that real time you can sit with your hiring managers and say, what you're looking for is a unicorn. However, here's what talent exists in our geography. Once we've understood that, let's work closely with our marketing team. Why? Because our marketing team has photographs, videos, rich media. As universities, most of you had recently graduations. They've got great photographs that tell a compelling story about our institution. So bring in your marketing communications organization and say, let's partner together. I'm looking to hire candidates. You're looking to attract future students to come to our organization. You've got great images. Let's partner together on the platform where these people exist and tell a compelling story. Once we've told our compelling story, we become a talent magnet, John. Talent comes to us, and that's what we want. We don't want recruiters spending all day on LinkedIn trying to find people. We want them to be spending their time interviewing and meeting the best in class candidates. Those candidates with the experience, with the skills, with the certifications, those candidates who have gone beyond their profile. How have they gone beyond their profile? They're posting content. They're using hashtags related to recruiting. They're thought leaders or perceived thought leaders. And remember, when recruiters search for you, they can see, of course, all things like, your your connections, and of course, see who else in their own network knows you. And they'll reach out to those people for referrals to get an understanding of what you can bring into the world of work. So go beyond your profile. If you're a job seeker and you're finding that you're not getting the right attention, you're not getting brought in for those jobs and interviews, start posting content, start interacting with other people's content, join groups on LinkedIn. There's so many ways for you to live rent-free in the minds of those who can hire you, those who can recommend you. And then as an organization, just to summarize it, here's what we're saying. Let's plan together, let's brand together, and let's hire together. I've given you contacts. They're up on the screen. Scan it right now. There's a link to book time with us. Reach out to Nelly, reach out to Crispin, reach out to Tunde, or even John or Marius, and we're here to help you. I hope that answers the question. I know it was a little bit long-winded. I'm super passionate about this. And I think you did answer it, Stu. You did, and it actually answers the question James just posted about how do we establish a strong employer value proposition on LinkedIn for prospective job applicants. I think you've kind of crushed that one immediately because what you've given on. I got a super cool video that I'm going to show at the end of this live stream on employer branding. You want to stick around for that. Like I said, it's not about going viral. It's about intentionally engaging that hard to hire talent with meaningful messages that talk about your culture, your values, your work flexibility, your commitments as an organization to development, to employee development, to equitable pay. Those things matter right now. Candidates, when they're looking for jobs, they holistically research you. So let's as recruiters, let's intentionally partner up with LinkedIn and leverage these insights and data to ensure that the messages we say are authentic and speak to the audience so that we hire faster, save costs, and bring in the best talent that stays and brings another quality talent into our organization. All right, so the live stream is more or less done. Like I said, you're going to get resources after this in terms of how to build your own personal profile. For those who are asking questions earlier on how to build your own profile as recruiters, you're going to find that in the link, of course, if you've scanned it. It's feedback time as we play out, of course, with a video. So thank you very much. Let me just come back on camera here. And of course, John, your last words before I wrap up and play out with a video.
Yeah, thanks, Stu, and thanks for the opportunity to be on the call with you. I think the message is you've got to have a LinkedIn strategy for your personal brand, for your company. You've got to use LinkedIn in general for all purposes professional. If I'm looking for recruiters, if I'm looking for software engineers, but I need to take the long road there, build a story to the market, to this professional audience of 930 million plus 53 million Africans I know we've got 11 million in South Africa alone, so it's a huge audience. And that audience is looking to open conversations. They're investing their time in the conversations. So, yeah, we're your local partners on the ground. If you need some help in building a LinkedIn strategy, we can please reach out to us at Turn Left.
Thank you. And of course, John, the only way we can improve, the only way we can determine what jobs you need help hiring for is when you talk to us, right? So give us the feedback. Tell us where we need to improve, including my own personal presentation to you. Of course, I aim to grow as a professional. So I take feedback as a gift. So definitely give it. And of course, share this. Like I always say, each one, teach one. Today, what we have learned is no corporate secret. What we've learned is about tools that can help someone else, that can help another organization, another college, university, polytechnic, or nonprofit or other institution. So share the message that LinkedIn is here to support. They have the tools, and of course, they have some of the things that we need to ensure that we're getting quality and that we're getting the best in class into our organization. I want to close out the show, as usual, with my favorite hashtag, which is, of course, it's time to shine. It's time to shine as an individual. You need to highlight your skills, your experience, your education, and it's to go beyond your profile. Start engaging with other people's content. Start joining groups. Start sharing your perspective and your point of view on LinkedIn. Run polls, engage the audience, live rent-free as a subject matter expert out there in the minds of those who can hire you and those who can recommend you. It's time to shine as a recruiter, identifying the best talent, doing it at scale and doing it efficiently, and doing it leveraging data and insights, and doing it with a lens on the modern world. Doing it effectively and efficiently with our internal stakeholders. It's time to shine as an organization. We need to tell our story. Who are our leaders? What talent do we have that looks like you? What are the values that we stand for? What are some of the benefits you can expect by joining our university, our college, our polytechnic? What impact will you have on our students? What are other employees saying about working here? We need to tell that story. And like I said, it's a combination of that story being told by you as an organization and also being told by, of course, your own employees. And it's time to shine as a world by helping other people grow. So share this live stream and other live streams so that your audience knows how to go out there, find jobs, how to go out there and be found, how to go out there and find talent, and how to go out there and bring impact into the world. Thank you very much for this live stream. I'm playing out today with a video that might make you laugh a little bit. Why not? It's Monday. Let's play out like we started off with the Recruiter Dad. Let's play out with an employer branding video. Like I said, it's not about going viral, but it's about engaging people with messages that matter. Let's watch this as we all head out for a positive Monday morning. Cheers.
We want New Zealand to be the safest country in the world, but we can't do it without your help.
New Zealand police are looking for new recruits who can make a real difference.
Those who care about others and their communities. Okay, yeah. I'm coming back and I've been on the grind. Got 'em running around looking for me all night. Oh yeah.
We need individuals who want to be part of a strong team.
Every time for push.
Cheers.
Eagle to 851, suspect detected.
When you join the police, you'll be trained with skills to keep you and others safe. Receive a good starting salary. And...
Like underwater business.
Or youth work.
Or police commissioner stuff.
We want fit New Zealanders. Woo, not that fit. Those who like to be active and willing to train and learn.
So what's holding you back?
Oh, it's just a tie tied to my waist with a bit of rope.
Yeah, I didn't mean it that literally. I was just asking the question.
What?
You kind of just ruined my flow now. There was supposed to be a big build-up, and now we have to go over this whole section again.
Who's we? Well, okay.
Do it.
Drop it.
Do you care enough to be a cop? Take the first step and visit newcops.co.nz.
But we can't do it without your help.
Oh, where's the camera? Do I say it to this camera?
Yeah.
You didn't. I missed.
Got him running around looking for me all night. Oh yeah. The week finish strong, second fry.
This guy coming in there, harmony.
And youth work.
No words, just that.